Ed Baldwin.
Woo! Boy, knocked the dust off of him. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Yo, I'm loving it. What's going on, Syntell with the Intel and episode 2, baby, of For All Mankind. NASA's in the house, baby, gang, gang. Yo, I love this show. I already told you why I loved it on episode 1. If you haven't seen episode 1, there's a link in the description so you can catch up. So let's go ahead and get this bad boy started with episode 2. Let's go.
Syntellリアクス
Hey,
Miss Baldwin.
that's the dude that played Darwin in one of
Thank
the
you for
X-Men
coming all the
shows.
way
The
out
guy
here.
that was supposed to be unkillable and they still killed him. Yeah, that guy.
That's why I asked you here.
Uh-oh. That's one of them situations where it's like, this is a number. And you let me know if that's enough to get you back up and running again. That's a rich man move right there. That's a billionaire move. A visionary, huh?
I suppose now your price goes up.
Yeah.
That was a great
Good pitch.
speech.
Yeah, good pitch.
I mean, it was worth at least another 10%.
I'll have my lawyers drop the paperwork.
Wow. In a dusty tent in the middle of who knows where, moves got made. I like the way that they're doing this, right? Like, you know, independent contractors that aren't necessarily attached to the whole national pride thing of whatever country you're from. Look at this, a Kenyan out here with the ducats. Let's go. I'm here for this storytelling. Game changer. I like that. That's a good name. This show is so good. I don't know why more people are not watching this.
And when. No matter what she writes in any goddamn memo. Come on, Ollie, let's go.
Yeah, yo, Ollie gave the little ground too, like, yo, we be back too. We ain't messing with y'all.
Which technology offers the best trade-off for a long-duration Mars mission with the goals we discussed?
Man, everybody's frailty just on display.
Don't fuck with me, Molly.
Now, why would I do that, Admiral?
Because you're drunk with power.
Dang. Well, he tried to shoot that shot. It was a terrible shot. What you gonna mean? You know, you was his first. You broke the young man's cherry and his heart. Doing all right for an older lady, though.
Will help me attract Democrats. He favors lower taxes and spending and less regulation, but he's also pretty socially liberal and a war hero.
McCain is still a war hero. Wow, full-blown family. They really committed to the mission, right? The mission of her future and politics and everything. Wow.
Which you know if you ever return my calls.
I know, I'm sorry.
Anyways, I guess...
You're doing video calls like that in
Don't
the
tell
90s.
me.
See
Yvonne
how much
cracked up
more
another card?
better the technology would be if we would just focus on the future of space exploration.
Serious teething problems.
So, bet your ass the US of A is going to win this race.
And,
I don't know.
here's a
That
kicker.
corporate sponsorship. And it's your wife funding it, your ex-wife.
How life might have evolved on Mars. We found a strain of Sphingomonas desicabilis that could survive the extreme cold up there.
So come with me. Bring some swingalingus with you.
Some swingalingus.
Careless spending led Governor Bill Clinton to increase the sales tax in Arkansas by 33%. And now he's hoping to become...
They had a beer tax and a mobile home tax.
I would be honored, if asked, to serve with you.
Well, I didn't see that coming. Look at this. Look, he sounds sincere on the surface. Well. Hey, BattleBots, yo, that is my jam.
Whoa, there it is.
BattleBots came out earlier than expected. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, come on. I wouldn't put my money on it. Look at him. Oh, look, he's crushing him. Oh, he's crushing him. Oh, he's crushing him.
Oh. Yes. She already out there on the moon. Look at that. Yeah, that's you. That's all you. She's come a long way. Almost forgot about her story. You know she's gonna be on the Mars mission too because she gotta figure out that jet propulsion system. Oh, I tell you what's gonna happen. I already know what's gonna happen. Yo, Baldwin is gonna be, his ex-wife is gonna put him on. I can feel it. Oh, well, there we go.
Happy birthday. Lift up.
This pity party is hard to like.
Enough to
be like, yeah, you're right.
fill a shoebox in the closet.
Bruh, you went to the moon. What are you talking about? Like multiple times. Like you taught other astronauts to do this. What? I don't understand the pity party. Yeah, she gonna put him on the project.
I'm Karen Baldwin, here to see
It's gonna be a real space race.
Is this your first time at Helios?
Yes.
Wow, look how modern it looks.
Okay.
3D printers. Look at this.
Thank you,
What's
Renee.
happening in '94?
Karen.
Flat screens.
Adapt and overcome. Somebody who isn't going to buckle under pressure, but in fact thrives under it.
Why do I get the feeling you got somebody in mind?
Say his name.
Hey, everybody. Bring it in.
Huh. No email being sent for the meeting. We just gonna shout it out like that? Okay. Shoot, Helios look like it might be the spot to work at. Wow, that was... Talk about cutting through all the bureaucracy, right? That's fast. She came in and got a decision in like 20 minutes.
A job? Doing what?
Whatever you want.
Oh, I want to work for Helios.
Talent lies in you. You know how to hook them.
I appreciate the offer, Dev.
Oh, you gonna work there. You better stop tripping.
If you want her or any of them, just say so. If not, you'll have to give them the bad news.
Well, I already got some ideas about who I want in my right seat. But as you know, he's a damn good pilot. And his knowledge of advanced avionics will come in real handy up there.
Wow, the race is on.
Private citizens have no business in space travel. Well, I emphatically disagree. The first hot air balloon to carry a human being aloft was designed by the Montgolfier brothers. The first powered aircraft...
I mean, he really getting his Steve Jobs on, ain't he?
Ed Baldwin.
Woo! Boy, knocked the dust off of him. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Yo, I'm loving it. Wow. What? Wow.
Way to go. Take it to the bastards.
Yeah. Yo. That's what I'm talking about. Yo, why are people not watching this show? Why? I don't understand it. It's way too good. And here's the thing, like, it's a good slow burn, right? You know, it's not beating you over the head with the technology and lasers and warp drives and all the other stuff. It's taking like a really good humanistic kind of like approach. It's like one of my favorite shows is Ted Lasso. Another Apple Plus subscription. But the thing that makes Ted Lasso brilliant is that it's it's based on football, right? It's based on soccer. And you would think that you would have to know a lot about soccer or football in order to really like get involved with the story. But the beautiful thing and the brilliance of Ted Lasso is that you don't have to know anything about that. It's a human story that just happens to have the backdrop of football, of the Premier League, of soccer, right? And it talks about human elements within this environment. And that's what this season, this especially this particular episode, seems to be doing. You know, you don't have to be a space jockey per se to understand like the battles that are going on between these different groups of people in this time period. And you're rooting for the people, you know, not necessarily the technology, not necessarily the scientific explanation or the laser beams and all of the cool little special effects and CG. You're legitimately rooting for the people. And when you make like a people story, the approach has to take its time. We have to, as people that are viewing this, we have to develop the space to connect with these actors and actresses and these characters, and they're giving us that. I've said this before regarding this. This project probably isn't necessarily for everybody, right? Because there are going to be, you know, like full-blown super sci-fi people that do need to see like the warp drives and the triangulations of laser beams and what is it? Synergizing people from the planet to the stars, starships and stuff like that. This isn't that, you know. This really is like a people story. And it's been fun to live in this fake world of what could be if space and technology had the emphasis put on it as it did in the earlier days, to see how some things are technologically on the same level here now, you know, in the 2020s and 2022, as it is now back then in 1992. You know, we're talking like a full 30 years difference of what could happen. And seeing these interesting elements, like one of the new people that's making his name out, that's putting his name out, is the Kenyan Ayese, I think that's his name, Dev. He's taking like the Steve Jobs approach, right? Like the Steve Jobs effect didn't really happen until like well after into the 2000s, right? And things stopped looking the same as far as how corporations pitched their products and the culture of the technology and how they connect to their consumers. And we're seeing this like in the 90s, where instead of like Steve Jobs wearing like the black turtleneck, you know, he's got like the weird knit looking suit kind of thing or whatever it is. And they've got this hive mentality where decisions can be made in like 20 minutes and stuff like that. So it's cool to see that placed in that time frame. The space race, right? Like that's the whole thing, right? That the whole series kind of started off with was the race to the moon, right? And then the race to who's going to control the moon. And now it's the race to who's going to get to Mars. And just like what's going on today, right now, with a lot of these bigger corporations, with Amazon and with Elon Musk's company, regarding the space race of launching commerce and people into space. We're seeing what that might have looked like back then. And it's tons of fun because not only are we racing against, you know, people within our own country, within the government itself, we're still racing Russia. So the old heads that were still in the beginning of the giddy up of the race are still there. Russia is still there. North Korea, I think it said they were trying to be involved. I'm sure China's involved as well. So there's still like this global space race, but now we're adding elements that we can understand now today in this form of storytelling by showing like these corporations and seeing what that looks like. And I love how Edward Baldwin is being moved around. Like he was a military guy, and then he went from NASA, who had like open kind of thinking as compared to like the military and everything else, and now he's moving on to this. But I like how complex like his character is as well, because there's elements about him that I don't like. You know, like I don't like some of his old style thinking, and we got a chance to see some of that when he confronted Danielle when he got booted, and they were at the bar, and he said, you know, some stuff that's a little out of pocket. But you gotta have characters that have a lot of dimension to them. Out of all the characters in the show, I think Baldwin Edward Baldwin has like the most depth, because there's things I don't like about him. There's things I love about him. He's still a hero, but there's just a lot of different layers, and we've had a few different seasons in order to develop that, right? We're seeing that more even with his ex-wife, with Karen as well, who's had like a really large part, right? I wasn't expecting her to have this big of a role regarding her entrepreneurial spirit. We're getting hints of it and peaks of it with Ellen Waverly, the senator who is going to be running for president, because we saw where she came from, where she had to hide who she really was and battle being a woman and becoming an astronaut and becoming a politician and like turning her back on who she really loved, and relationship that she had with her husband and how he was willing to sacrifice everything as well, because they're both living in secret but still helping one another and stuff like that. Like, I'm really interested to see what happens with that. There's the young Mexican girl, I can't think of her name right now, and how far she's come regarding, you know, somebody who had her head in the stars, to her father being deported, to her actually achieving her dreams, and now we're seeing her struggle with being in a space and at a level where nobody else is at that she loves, right? You know, her husband may not be on the same level. Her father doesn't necessarily get it. Plus, he's aging. You know, maybe signs of age are probably showing. Her son doesn't really get it. So she's achieving these huge and amazing things, but she's doing it by herself, right? So that's interesting too. And I think she's going to be added into the space race because she's, you know, a part of the genius minds that are behind like the propulsion program, right? And the engine design and stuff like that. And NASA is going to need that in order to move their timeline up, in order to catch up with Helios, because they cut it down by 2 years. Another interesting and fascinating character is Danny, right? The son of Edward Baldwin's wingman. You know, him and his obsession over Karen, and he's got this weird. It is a little creepy, right? I mean, I know, you know, it was his first love, and she, you know, quote unquote, made him a man and everything. He just hasn't been able to get over it. But it's really creepy because he's literally stalking her, sitting outside of her window. But if he is going to be the wingman for Danielle, or the pilot, that it adds to the race again. So it's going to be the race for the love for Karen. It's going to be the race to be first. It's going to be the race for him defining himself as his own man. It's just really interesting. And then I love the kind of the send off of the old head. I forgot her name. She was the head of charging, and she was in charge of who is going to go on the list regarding the pilots and setting up who the crew, right? And then she gives like one last middle finger, right, to NASA, and decides to select her own person, who is Edward, but, you know, it blows up in her face. But still, you know, she still kind of like gets the last laugh. And I like the generational old school versus like the new school, you know. Even though Edward Baldwin is stuck in his old ways of thinking, it is interesting to see the blind lady. I cannot think of her name. Molly, that's her name. It is interesting to see Molly still hold on to like the old school practices, not necessarily with all of the men taking over everything, right? But just the old status quo of the culture, whereas like rocket jockeys and test pilots are the ones who should be the ones to go out and explore, and how the culture has changed to now it should be the thinkers, the pencil pushers. And it's that battle of the old school jet pilots versus the scientists, and seeing how that all pans out. It has so much to offer. I mean, I could go on and on. This episode is just good. I know it's slower, but I, for one, enjoy the pace that it's taking, because it's making this more of a human experience, and it's not focusing solely on the bells and the whistles and the science. All right, I'm done going on about it, because I can go on about it forever. This is such a good show. Let me know what you're thinking about it. Let me know if I'm where I got it wrong. You know, maybe you do want to see more of the bells and whistles and the warp drives and all that other stuff, and maybe it is overly dramatic. And there is that too. There are parts of it that can be a little overly done, but not everything is going to be perfect. I think it suits me, but I can certainly understand how it could not suit other people. With that being said, thank you for hanging out and kicking it with me while I get a chance to enjoy one of my all-time favorite shows. If you've been enjoying this and this breakdown, everything, of course, you know, share it and let people know. And of course, if you haven't subscribed, what are you doing? Go ahead and, you know, hit that subscription button, and of course, give me that thumbs up. It's how the algorithm knows you're digging what you're giving. Team NASA, baby. I don't know who you're gonna be. Team NASA, Team Helios, Team Russia, Team US. I don't know where you standing with. All right, yo, I'm out. I'm done talking. Holla at you.